President Trump made more than $21 million in highly unusual payments in 2016, according to a report on his tax records in the New York Times. That money flowing from several of Trump's businesses to Trump himself. Meanwhile, the Manhattan DA's subpoena for President Trump's tax records looks like it's heading back to the Supreme Court. But what is the Manhattan DA looking for there? And are there criminal implications? NBC News correspondent for investigations Tom Winter explains.
Manhattan District Attorney is using a grand jury and confidential informants to continue their investigation into the Trump Organization and the president himself over, you guessed it, his taxes. The New York Times reported that the president has paid as little as $750 in personal federal income tax in 2016 and 2017. But there are other revelations about the president's taxes that could ultimately land him in legal hot water. The president continues to fight the handing over of his tax returns and tax documents to prosecutors for the Manhattan DA, Cy Vance. So what could prosecutors be looking for in those long sought-after documents? Legal and law enforcement experts expect investigators will look to see what Trump and the Trump Organization declared on their local, state, and federal tax returns as income, as losses, as well as other financial information. They will compare that to what Trump has presented to banks and insurance companies for income, losses, asset valuations, and other financial information. Once they're done looking at those documents with the magnifying glass, will they discover any differences? And if there are differences, then are there arrests? What are the potential crimes that the DA is looking at into the Trump Organization and to Trump himself? According to court documents, prosecutors are looking at the following violations of criminal code: scheme to defraud, falsification of business records, insurance fraud, and criminal tax fraud. Court documents show Trump properties coast to coast are being looked at as well, scrutiny that includes the New York Attorney General's office. Separate court documents show the DA's investigators are also taking a look at possible violations tied to those so-called hush money payments made to two women in 2016, Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. Separately, there are non-criminal areas of scrutiny that may get the attention of the IRS. For example, there's payments to Ivanka Trump as a consultant while she is one of the principals of the Trump Organization. Will investigators determine if that was an effort by the Trump family to dodge taxes? And finally, what about big losses the Times says the president has used to carry over each year to post against his income? He gave up a partnership and has now shuttered Atlantic City casinos, resulting in a big loss on paper. But was that proper? And if the IRS finds it is improper, could there be a nearly $100 million bill that could come due in cash? NBC News has not independently reviewed the tax documents in the New York Times, and the president and his attorneys have steadfastly denied any wrongdoing. Alan Garten with the Trump Organization says the New York Times' story is riddled with gross inaccuracies. Over the past decade, the president has paid tens of millions of dollars in personal taxes to the federal government. What is not known is how long any of these investigations will take and if there will be any charges. That's assuming that Vance ends up getting Trump's tax documents. Any of those tax documents wouldn't become public until and if there was a trial. Nearly 4 years into Trump's presidency, we still don't have his full financial picture, but we're starting to get a clearer picture about what investigators are looking for.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.